already. Yeah, as I said, this double attack I'm not going to be explaining because I think double attack you already know. So, and you can just look at it through this. It is fairly what I call well-known tactic, double attack. So you can do this study and then do the examples yourself, puzzles, right? Double attack is well known. Like in this position, you will. This is a very simple double attack, but yeah, rook c7 because it attacks both the minor pieces and they cannot defend each other. If this bishop was light squared bishop, then maybe there was some chance that it could have moved and defended. Or if this knight was closer and in a slightly different position, then maybe sometimes the knight jumps and defends the thing. So like this it happens. But in this case, it is clearly not possible, right? So this is double attack, and but these are very simple, but there are more examples of double attack, but you understand what is double attack, right? So please do that. You also understand what is discovered attack and discovered check, because those we had covered it as part of L2 and this one also. So discovered attack. So we are going to look at something called as a decoy. And there is a related tactic called distraction. So distraction, we are going to see it next week. But decoy and distraction, both of them are about luring somebody, but some opponent's piece. But decoy is luring them to a particular square which is very dangerous for the opponent. Okay, but you kind of lure them or you force them into that square, and then you land the very big blow to them. Okay, and distraction on the other hand is like you distract them away from something. So they have a very good defensive square, and from that square they can defend really well, but you force them to go away from that square, and then hence the defense crumbles. So that we will see it next week. But decoy is where you say, I want to attract you to a square where I will be able to deal. It is like luring you to a trap where I will do it, but not generally. It is not that. It is not a simple trap in the sense that opponent may or may not fall. Really, decoy is something where you force the opponent. You kind of force it because he has no options. Otherwise, if he does not, then also he's got a verse of it. And if he follows the logic and comes there, then you have the blow waiting. So we will see this, what is called as decoy.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this you send the scores personally to me, no, sir. In this course, we have to see the theory or we have to practice, sir.
No, first you have to see the theory, and then for the same thing you have to go and do the practice. So theory first you have to do. Okay, go through it, because theory will help you understand what is the thing. And sometimes, like I explain the theory most of the time. So most of these topics I explain it, except for some well-known things like double attack, discovered attack, etc. Otherwise, I explain it like this. Even if after explanation also, you can still go through the theory so that you and read this so that you understand it second time. Okay, and then you go, and whether you have learned well or not, that you can find out in practice by actually taking this example. Okay, so decoy has got 11 puzzles to be solved, but do it next week after first you study the decoy.
Okay? Yes, sir.
All right, I think we have 2 more people also joined, so which is good. Hi. So we will start the thing. Okay. So
hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So look at this example. Okay. Look at this example. Black to play. And black can win with a tactic which is called, which we are saying that is decoy. Okay.
So I think it is knight captures. No. Bishop. I think it's knight takes on e4.
Knight takes on e4 is what is tempting black, but white can play queen takes g7, right? And then there are counter threats. So there is a better move.
I think even white queen can even capture the knight.
Oh, white queen. No, it is black to play. It is not white to play.
Yes, after the knight captures the e4 pawn afterwards.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. That is also there. So that is why knight takes e4 is not a good move.
Yes.
What about
Bishop
takes f2?
Bishop takes
Yeah,
f2.
Bishop takes f2.
Yeah, bishop takes f2. Now, see, now white is in a dilemma, really, because he has to capture the bishop. He cannot leave. If he moves the king, then the queen will be gone. Right now, he can capture the bishop in two ways: by the king or by the queen. In both cases, it is a decoy. Okay.
Sir, if he takes it with his
Queen
king,
is
then sir, if he takes it with his king, then knight e4. Yeah, we get the queen.
Yeah.
And if the
Correct.
queen captures, then knight d,
Knight
knight
d6.
d, knight d.
D3. Correct.
Knight
Correct.
d3.
Correct. So you see here now the opponent's piece has come to the decoyed square because we wanted it. We want one of the pieces to be on f2, and here we have got two decoys. If the king comes to f2, then knight takes e4 is a fork, which wins the queen. And on the other hand, if on after bishop takes f2, if queen had taken it, then you have another decoy. This other knight goes to d3 and again forks the king and queen. Right. So in both cases, basically, and this knight forks are possible only after the king and queen are in these squares. But to get them to this, black sacrifice a bishop and forces them. See now, in this case, there is nearly no option for white. Either king or queen has to capture it. If not, then anyway you will capture the queen. Right? But essentially, so always decoy is not a tactic by itself. It will lead to some other tactic. Okay, so it is in combination with something, because decoy, what you are saying is that I am just forcing you to come to a square which is then advantageous for me, and then I will use a tactic. Then it can be a discovered attack, discovered check, fork. It can be something. It can be a permanent pin, whatever it is. A lot of things can be there. But decoy is the first step to get you to that, and then you do this. So that is why decoy is like a second level tactic. It is always in combination with something else. Okay. So let us see some more examples. Now this is the example. Again, black to play.
So
Rook e1.
knight captures the bishop.
Knight captures bishop is a thing that you want to do, but right now it does not work. If you
Rook
simply capture
e1.
if you capture the bishop, then white will capture with the rook, and if you capture it with your rook, then white queen will capture it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So rook
To
e1.
distract the
So
given, yes.
rook e1. Now you are pinning the queen, right? When you pin the queen against the king,
I
it will
got it.
sure that you are going to. You have no option other than killing the rook, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, the rook is going to.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Advantage of the pawn on g2.
Knight takes
It is a
f3.
pin. Because
Knight
of the
takes f3.
yeah. Now knight takes f3. See, now we have decoyed the queen to a square, where we can deliver a blow. So now we can deliver a blow, knight to f3. Now, if the rook captures it, then also the rook is also pinned against the queen. So if rook captures it, I am going to win the queen with my queen.
And if he, he can kill it with this pawn also.
Yeah, and pawn cannot capture because it is a pin. Rook also cannot capture because of a pin, and if the king moves, then anyway you pick up the thing. So right now in this position, anyway, you won't want to give the queen for free. At least you will want to win the knight. So rook will capture it, but after this, now what happens is queen takes it. And now after this, it should, it is not immediate, it is not winning, but it is a winning advantage, because after this, there is a queen against a rook. So queen should be able to win this. How we will go about winning this game? So actually, white has got 4 pawns, black has got 3 pawns. So that is also instructive, okay? Because you can't just play careless. First, white defends its pawn and also attacks one of white's pawn, right? So the f5 pawn, f4 pawn is not falling, and then white defends his a3 pawn. So, but white was also attacking another pawn, which was d5. So he captured that, right? He captured that. Then
Sir, I think Rook should
Uh,
capture it.
Oh, rook. should not-
No. I
Rook-
think
Oh, you have to not capture, sir. If he
Ah.
captures, that's a wrong move. Then the rook is gone.
Yeah, because
you
you
may think you can get
will
no,
keep the rook.
even if you get your queen to e5, white can get is
White will
whereas there's a pawn,
pawn,
there's a pawn,
but
there's a pawn.
pawn,
Yeah.
but the queen can go to e2 and there is a double attack.
Yeah. That is why the rook will not capture it. The king will simply play here, and now why black will defend his pawn now, right? And after this, now there will be few more moves, but now white's queen is so powerful that it should be able to first. See, black is also not hurrying. Black is just getting his king to support his pawns first, and then after this, now what is the thing is happening is with this, now black is advancing his pawn, and very soon now black will now be able to king to e4 also. It has come. See, it has brought in his king, because just playing with the queen, it is not possible to win. But in the end game now, you have brought the now at a certain point. Okay, what is the black is further going to advance his pawn, and at an advantageous position,
Sir?
first it is going to kill a pawn, and then it is going to exchange the rooks. So check, and king to f1, king to f1, queen to b1 check, king to f2, queen to d1. So now with this position, now black has it has come that whatever now white moves, slowly he's going to lose the pawns now. So it has come to very good strong position black has brought himself, and after this his plan is 1 or 2 pawns he will win, and then he doesn't mind exchanging the rook, because after that his pass pawn will win. Okay, fine. So but this is the end game technique. But why I showed you is that a queen versus rook also, it is not simple to win. You have to play carefully. But if you have pawns, then you can get into a stronger position with your pawns and king, and then use the technique.
So black has trapped white by zigzag.
Yes, that is
Because if he moves his king, then black can get the rook and a pawn, and if he moves his for zigzag, and if he moves his pawn at h3 to h4, then black will capture.
correct. So h pawn moves, you will capture it. A pawn moves, you will capture it. If G pawn moves, then you will capture the rook. King does not have any other square. Rook does not have any other square to move. Wherever he moves, otherwise the rook will get captured. So it is a zugzwang now. So at least a pawn, it is going to lose it. And after losing one pawn, another pawn also it is going to lose it.
Yeah.
Right. So next 2 moves, white is going to lose 2 pawns. And after that, then the queen does not mind exchanging against the rook, because 1 pawn against 3 pawns, it is very easy. On 2 sides of the board, 1 pawn of them, the A pawn will just run down probably. Right.
White even can't play c3.
When white gets his pawn to h.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we are done. I think we are done with that. Okay. Let us go to the next example, and black to play.
Bishop to h3.
So bishop h3 check, sir. Afterwards, the queen can go to h5.
Bishop to h3 check. King takes h3. It is
and the rook is gone.
And now the rook is gone, because it's a double attack, or what do you call? This is called as a fork. Also, you can call it, or double attack. But essentially, check is there and the rook is there. So, and remember, you should not have gone to here. Queen f1 would not have worked. Why? Because the same rook that you think you are going to attack goes back.
The rook can block the check.
Yeah. So you should be careful. Sometimes there are 2 ways that you can double attack, but only one of them actually is useful, right? So you have to think. You can't just automatically move the queen to f1, because then you have lost the bishop, and now white is the one who is winning. So, but queen h5. Okay. Now queen h4 comes, but you win the whatever way it does. Now you win the hook. And now this is actually end game is one for what do you call one for black, because he has got a massive pawn advantage, 5 versus 3. So even though there are queens on the board, what black will do, what is the black strategy? As fast as possible exchange the queens, because once the queens are exchanged, on the queen side he has got such a massive majority that the pawns are going to just queen there, right? So that is what is the thing. In fact right now black can even capture one more pawn also, unless white defends it. So that is a danger basically. And then it is very clear for this one, for
Excellent,
white.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, decoy is nothing but double attack.
No, that is why I said decoy is not double attack. Decoy, first you have to do the decoy, and then you have to use some other tactic which is useful. That is only, so it is not that you have to first do the decoy. Only first you have to think what is the thing, and if there is sometimes to make that other tactic work, first you have to do the decoy. So it is in this position you saw it as double attack. Sometimes it is not double attack, it is a fork. Like in earlier case, it was a knight fork, right? Okay, fork also you can sometimes say double attack, but many times it is not necessarily double attack. Sometimes it can be something else also, right? But
Yes, sir.
but some tactic is there. Okay. So here it is, white to play.
Rook takes a6.
See, it is surprising, it looks, but rook takes a6. Okay, because now.
Oh, sir, next move would be bishop to b5.
So now you are offering an option for black. You exchange the rooks. Okay, I mean you kill the rook. My rook is for free, but it is not really for free, because I will take one more pawn with a check, and then I'm going to win your rook. But if you don't take it, then I have won the pawn for free, right? Then also I have got another pawn for free. Then also if you don't take it, then also I take this one. What do you call? I take another pawn. So what is the thing after this? So though black also captures one pawn, but it really does not help, because white just defends it, and after this it is a this is still a win, because see on queen side white has got 3 pawns connected pass pawns. So in this end game also it is actually a very easily won end game for white, because what he will do, he will try and exchange the rook and the bishop, and then it's a very, in the end game it is clear win, right? White king will defend any black pawn advance, but black king will not be able to defend against the white pawns advance. So the tactic helped win 2 pawns. Okay, what if the black rook had gone to b1? Not b1, b8.
Then bishop takes b5 anyway.
Yeah, bishop can still take on.
So afterwards the rook can go to a8.
Exactly. So defending the pawn also does not help, because there is a back rank weakness, right? Because rook b8, bishop takes b5, rook takes b5, rook a8 check, and then it is going to win the h8 rook. So that's why basically, yeah, that is why here actually that is the reason why black does not really think. Black just does this, but then he loses one more pawn, and after that it is really a gone game, right? So yeah, so look at one more example.
Sir, rook d1. D8.
Rook d8 is a way.
Because c7.
Yeah, because c7 is coming, and c7 is such a powerful move, right? And you, after that, not only just c7 is coming, but from c7 then you are winning making it into a queen also, right? So rook to d8, it is something that you can't refuse, because black, if he does not take this, if he does this bishop to f8, then very simple, then what do?
Again a pawn check.
No, actually, there is
No,
a
you can move your
Rook to
rook
B7.
down.
seven.
Rook,
is a
yes,
checkmate.
yes. Checkmate,
Rook,
yes, yes.
rook to b7 is a checkmate because the other bishop is pinned,
Bishop is spin, yes, spin.
right? So black cannot do this, but black has to accept it. And now the c7 check is super deadly because not just you win the rook, but you win it with a promotion. So now king has to go, no option other than going to b7, and then you take it, and then it's a I mean, you have exchanged the rooks and you have got a queen for your pawn. So it is what it is practically. It is going to become a checkmate in another 2 or 3 moves actually, because the queen, rook, and the white knight is also there. So practically, right? But if you look at the original position, see, it was possible here. You have to lure the. It is not just winning the black rook. It is actually getting it to d8, which is a very special square in this case for white. Because then c7 4 comes, pawn 4, and then it can become a queen. That is the whole point, right? So that is why it is called, this thing is decoy, because the rook is decoyed to a very dangerous square. And coming to what Aditya's question, yeah, most of the time you either get a fork or a double attack, right? Or with a decoy, most of the time, fork or double attack. So
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Sir, couldn't black play bishop to g7?
Bishop to g7 you play. Bishop to g7 you play. Still, rook to b7 is still a checkmate.
Okay, yeah.
Right. This is also a very wonderful example.
Yes, sir. QG3. QG3 check.
Yeah. Because after that, see, white is also threatening on g7 to checkmate on g7. So what you do is here, and your pawn is ready to queen, but just queening the pawn as itself is not helping you because you are getting checkmated on g2. So you have to find something, some breather move in between, something you have to find it. Either you have to defend the g7 square somehow, but there is currently there is no easy way for you to defend it. Absolutely no way, except, but the sacrifice in this case it works, queen to g3. And now after king takes g3, you now because the king is on g3, you get it with a check. So first of all, you get enough time after this to defend it, if at all. So if there were no other tactic, you can simply now you will be able to you will be able to make a defense, because now where will actually black is going to checkmate the white king, but even if that was not possible, black will get enough opportunity to defend on g7 now while pushing the black king. So white king, where will white king go now? Right? King to f3, then queen to f1 is checkmate. Not checkmate, it is it is going to on the way to checkmate. It is.
Sir, king to h2?
King to h2, huh? Queen h4.
Queen takes h4 check.
Queen takes h4, yeah, and followed by rook to e1.
Okay.
King to h3 is your best bet.
But then rook e3 check. Then queen takes h4 check and rook e1.
Yeah, because rook h3, so rook e3, even if you play g3, queen takes g3. If you play king h2, then queen h4 again, followed by king g1 and then rook e1. Right? So really white king cannot go to h2, cannot go to h3, cannot go to f3. You can go, but you will get checkmated very soon, because what will happen? Rook, in fact, king f3, rook to f5. Rook to f5 itself, I think, is checkmate. Right? So, yep. So one more example we'll see. This is
Sir. So rook
we can see the move there actually. So that is the thing. But think about it. Don't try to see it and see what is it. Try to find the entire sequence, visualize it in your. What will happen? What is the thing? What is the threat? What is the thing? What all options black has after the white's first move? Right. So key thing that you have to notice that the bishop on b1, queen on c2 is a battery, right? It is a battery which can lead a devastating blow on h7, but currently there is a knight on f6 also. So as long as the knight on f6 is there, it is okay. But you have to imagine, if the knight was not on f6, then what would happen, right? So then
you have to distract it.
Yeah, you have to.
Do we have to figure out the move for black also?
Yeah, you have to.
But even king, no, then the rook is falling.
Yeah, if king comes to e7, then you simply win the c8 rook for free.
Yes, sir.
Right?
So after I think knight g8, and after that.
Now knight g8. Now you have to think. Oh, you can think of like, oh, I will go to now itself. I will go to queen to h7, etc. But actually, no. You can actually now force it in such a way that you can actually deliver a checkmate. Okay, so
you have to use the knight.
Rook takes g8 check.
No, rook takes g8. Now also black can decide to give up everything by going to king to e7. But then what? He has lost a knight and he's going to lose another rook, right? So that is not a playable game. But if he does not and he sticks to the thing, king to g8, now you can force a checkmate. How?
Rook to h8 check.
Rook to h8. First of all, forcing the king to take the rook on h8, and then queen goes to h7, and then there is a checkmate. So there were two decoys involved here, right? First, you decoyed the knight, actually distracted that. It is called as distraction and decoy here, you can say. Distracted the knight away from h7 because it was earlier defending h7, but you forced the knight to go to g8 so that the h7 is available. And then you attracted the king first to g8 and finally to h8. So it is like a complex tactic, but it's a combination of distraction and double decoy, right? But finally you are winning, you are getting a checkmate. And it is not forced. Black can give up, but black can give up. He will have to give up massive material to just play. So
he can extend the checkmate by giving up his rook. But
yes.
Can't stop the checkmate.
No, you can stop the checkmate, but that game will be. No, that if you have to do now, first itself, you have to play.
If white doesn't do any mistake.
Yeah.
Or blunder.
Correct. Okay. So we will see one more example here. It is black to play.
So queen takes queen. Sir, pawn to g4. Pawn to g4. The queen is pinned by the queen, so the pawn can't. So the queen can't take the pawn.
But what will you do after king takes the pawn?
Bishop to h5 check.
Yeah, bishop to h5 check.
Then king takes h5. The queen is protected.
No, but what? Yeah, queen is protected. So after bishop to h5 check, king takes h5.
Then queen to g5 check.
So that is what. So see the sequence. First is g4. it's a fork which you cannot avoid. So you have to capture it. Either you cannot capture it with the queen, so you have to capture it with the king. But then comes the decoy. Now, so the g4 is not decoy. G4 is simple. Okay, g4 is decoy also, you can say, because the king first has to come to g4, then you decoy him to h5. From g4, the king will come to g4. Now bishop h5, because it is a proximity check, and through the check it is like a skewer. So white king cannot decline that offer. If white king goes back, then he's going to lose his queen. The bishop is going to win the queen. So because of which now the king is forced to come to h5. And on h5, it's a very deadly square, because queen can come to g5 with the support of the pawn. The king is already on the edge of the board, and it is a checkmate, proximity checkmate. So to lure the king to h5, you have to do two sacrifices. So both of them are called as decoy in this case. Okay, first one, maybe you can call it as a fork but a decoy. And the second one is a skewer decoy. So together the net thing is that the white king is going to get checkmated on h5 square. So
Sir, do we have to rejoin?
yes, we have to rejoin, because we'll do the analysis positions.
Yes, sir.
Right. Fine. So this was the decoy. Now one last example, white to play.
So this game has so many variations.
Yeah. This I had given this example, I had shown it sometime. But it is a very wonderful, I think this is a study. It's not from an actual game.
So
Yeah.
Black is winning by one point.
Yeah, point wise black is ahead, but white
Just by 1 point it's ahead, just by 1 point.
yeah, but white is winning this straight.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, wait, rook to a8. And then the
A.
queen is basically trapped.
So on the open board, queen is trapped.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you see this? Actually, before I make all the moves, I want you to see the beauty of this one. Actually, the white queen is trapped. Sorry, not white queen. Black queen is trapped. No matter.
I think it can even be a draw, sir.
No, it cannot be a
chance.
draw.
No chance of a draw.
Our rook is falling, so.
Rook is not falling.
Rook is falling, yeah, but then you get
Queen. You are getting a queen for that. So, but look at it. See, for obvious, the first thing is that rook to 8, queen takes 8 is a no-brainer. It is like bishop to f3 check. It's a skewer. King will move, and then you will win the queen on a8, and you have a bishop and 2 pawns versus black has got 3 pawns. It's an easy endgame win. So that is not the point. I mean, that is the very easy to understand. Rook to 8.
Wait, but there's still so many squares for the queen to win.
So now
No,
you
you
try to think
the
each and
entire
every
diagonal is cut
square.
off, the entire row is cut off, and then h7 is also not possible.
So just think about it. Each and every square, the queen will be lost. And this is a wonderful study by H. Rink. Rink was a very famous.
What about A2?
What about A2? So can you think of why it will not go to A2? Queen goes to A2, again it's a lost.
Yes. Yes, sir. The rook takes the pawn. The queen takes the rook. Afterwards, the bishop goes to e8.
Correct. So why don't I put it actually to show this entire position?
I have a question. What happens if the queen comes to? Can you show the board once?
I will show the board, but I will set up the board here first.
Okay.
Okay. So clear the board. Let me set it up, because you will need to. I think this is the position, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the position.
Rook 8.
Sorry.
So that's not the position.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah,
start with
the
a
rook
check.
is watching the rook. Yeah, that's
Oh,
not
sorry.
position.
Rook is not. Okay. Fine, got it. So white rook is not here. White rook is here. This is the position. I think. Right. This is the position. Yeah. This is the position. And now we will see it very, very quickly. before we-
R8.
Okay. So what are the things? Rook to A.
R8.
Okay.
QA2.
Queen A2. If you do, then
Then the
rook
rook
takes
captures.
rook
Yeah.
captures.
Afterwards, bishop goes to E.
Yeah. If you kill
E8.
it, then this skewer is there, and after this you win it.
2 versus white have a bishop extra.
So, what if the queen came to h7?
Then bishop to
G7,
G6.
then
Bishop G6.
G6.
Oh,
If you
okay.
take
Then
it,
the king can come to A.
and then the rook takes the queen.
Now it's an easy win, very easy.
So,
What one more? What is one more? If queen cannot come to F7, if queen comes to E6, then again rook.
Yes, sir.
The rook.
If queen comes to obviously we saw that if this, then this, right? And then you move it and then you take it.
King versus a pawn.
Then what if the what if the queen comes here? Then anyway you are pinning it and
Yes,
winning it, right? So what if the queen comes here? Then again this rook is coming here and it's again
In
right.
an open board. Okay.
And if the queen comes, obviously the queen cannot come here. So what is the thing? So there is absolutely no option other. And after this, there is no option again, right? So on an open board, the queen is trapped. So wonderful study. So, but all based on decoys, right? Because you are always decoying the queen to some square where it is lost. Yeah.
So there's some games of
where it was A2, Queen A2.
Queen where?
To Queen A2.
Queen
A2.
A2 we saw, right? Rook 8, Queen A2, then rook takes.
And then the rook takes, and what happens if you just move?
Where?
You can't move anywhere safe.
You move here, it is getting captured. You move here, here it is a pin. Here again it will be check, rook check and skewer. Here you cannot. Here if you go back, then yeah, you can go back and now again rook to 8. Now you don't have A2 square also. So only all the other squares only are. So now don't worry. Fine. So wait. Join back, please join back. I'm going to start again. So
should we take